Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. This is, I guess, we're the backup crew. Fez and Brian were in on Tuesday. We're here on Wednesday night taping. We're going to look at Friday college football action and then carry into the weekend. Ken, we're going to get things started off. And everybody knows my partner in crime, Ken Thomson, SportsX Radio, Las Vegas. 7 to 9 every night.
Monday through Friday, AM 720 KDWN. The great thing is that Pregame takes those shows and they actually cut down all the spots, everything like that, and then they put them up there so you could go right to pregame.com and listen to the edited version.
Good stuff. And we're going to take a look Friday night. We get two teams, ACC action. Wake Forest traveling to play Boston College. Both of these teams, you know, they're veteran teams. They both bring back 8 starters on offense, 8 starters on defense.
Now, BC's got 10 back on defense. 10
back on defense. Well, I'm going to have to talk to somebody in my magazine there that I was looking at. They missed a couple. Situation here, difference though. Boston College has a first-year head coach. Wake Forest, obviously, Grove's been there for, what, 13 years?
13 years, yeah.
And we look at these two teams heading into this game on Friday night. Both have a game under their belt, and that's something that, you know, you might want to look at when you're handicapping week 2 of college football, because there's going to be some teams that will be making their debut this week, and they might be, you know, hooking up against a team that's already played a game. And generally speaking, consensus is, you know, it's an advantage to a team that's already got a game under their belt because, you know, there's one thing to do practice, but it's another thing to do game speed. So you get that, some of the kinks worked out.
I agree with that to a point, Marco, but also the team that hasn't played a game, they have film on the team that has played a game. They have nothing except for last year's stuff on that team.
That is true, and which would be more of an advantage, again, if you're looking at that team that didn't play, if it's a new coaching regime, you know, that you don't know what they're going to be running with. The other thing to consider when you're looking at these games from the first week to the second week, most people say that you're going to see the biggest improvement on a team from week 1 to week 2 because the coaches actually get to see the players in action. The players are doing it, as we said, at game speed. And then the coaches are going to make adjustments after they see their own team's strengths and weaknesses after they've been matching up and looking at game film other than looking at these guys on the practice field all the time.
Here's the other thing, because a lot of these FCS schools were playing FBS schools last week. So, and 7 of them won. 7 of them come away with W's. Both these teams, Boston College and Wake Forest, both played an FCS school. BC, a much tougher FCS school. Traditionally, Villanova. Who went to Villanova? Howie Long. Howie Long went to Villanova. And it was funny because I used to do the show with Bob Golick, and when they were with the Raiders, Howie used to call Villanova the Notre Dame of the East, and Golick used to laugh because he went to Notre Dame, of course, and he goes, "You're killing me with that the Notre Dame of the East thing." But again, both these teams played FCS schools, and Villanova, proud tradition, very tough, always battling to win a championship, where Presbyterian, really not much of competition there for Wake Forest. In fact, they only had 2 first downs in the entire game.
Yeah, and that's the problem that some people make when they handicap by shortcut. And by shortcut, I mean they're going to look at what the scores were last week, and they're going to see that Boston College was in a dogfight with Villanova, and they're going to see Wake Forest, you know, rolled 31-7, and they're going to automatically assume that Wake Forest is a much better team. But that is very dangerous to do if you don't dig deeper and know what these teams really are. And back to Villanova for a second. When you say Villanova, you know how you say, what's the first thing that pops in your mind? With me, I can't help it. You say Villanova. I think of Raleigh Massimino. That's what pops in my head. And then the epic battles with Georgetown and winning the title.
Who was the best shooter on that team?
On Villanova? No, you know.
Harold Jensen. Remember that guy? His hair never moved.
Kind of like you.
Guy had great hair, yeah.
Yeah, you know. Why you got to bring up hair?
I'm sorry.
Why?
Well, you brought up Massimino. I was relating to you.
All right. Well, you know what, Ken? This is actually your free pick for Friday night action. Why don't we make it official, Mr. Hare?
Okay. This is a tough game. I mean, no doubt, Jim Grove is a coach that anybody in college football has got to respect. The guy has always gotten the most out of his teams, and he's doing it down there in Winston-Salem. Not easy to go against a lot of those ACC powers over there at Wake Forest. Still a basketball school. Every now and then the Demon Deacons do come out to play football, and a lot of people like them to surprise this year. Now, Boston College, yes, it's a new coach, but it's Adazio, and I like Adazio. I think he's a coach. It's a definite upgrade for them over there in Chestnut Hill. Chase Reddick, actually, my buddy Mike Marlatt, who gets me my season tickets over there for USC, he's good friends with Chase's dad. And Reddick's really come on his last couple of years. Now, supporting cast, well, not really a lot of weapons. He does have a couple guys, though, this year that he may be able to look to. Andre Williams had a real nice game on the ground, 23 carries, 113 yards, had a touchdown last week against Nova, but he got banged up a little bit, hammy, a little bit tight. Looks probable. Right now, we're taping here on Wednesday, and he is listed to go. So by Friday night, he should be good to go in the home opener. Also, Amadon, wide receiver, outstanding. This guy will definitely play at the next level. 13 catches, 146 yards, and a touchdown. But he's got some help now. Bobby Walford also stepped up, 6 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown in the opening win against Villanova. Defensively, I told you, 10 out of 11 starters are back. They've got some good ones, and they also have a very solid kicker in Nate Freese. Now, the one thing that I'm looking at as far as Boston College is going against a Wake Forest offense that gets their best receiver, Campanaro, back. And Campanaro is a gamer. This guy, he could be all ACC if he'd ever stay healthy for the entire season. He's one of the best. They also had Williams step up last week. Jonathan Williams had 5 receptions for 143 yards. He's just a freshman. So there is some good talent on this team for Wake Forest. Tanner Price, he's a senior quarterback, so he's been there, done that. Just a vanilla game. But again, they didn't have to show a lot to BC on film because they were playing Presbyterian. And I talked about Presbyterian. They only had 100 and some odd yards and only 2 first downs. So they didn't string a lot of things together. So kind of like a ho-hum effort, really, from Wake Forest. Still, like Marco said, got the 31-7 victory at home, took the foot off the gas there and didn't really rub it in against a much lesser foe. So I think this game's going to be a dogfight, but I'm going to go with the coach, the new kid, Adazio, up in BC, because this is a huge game for this program. Yes, it's a Friday night game. Yes, they're at home, and they need to grab the attention of the fan base. Let's remember, this was a very proud program. A lot of great ball players have come from Boston College, and I really think that this fan base is going to get a good game. I think it'll be tight throughout, but I look for Boston College, Chase Reddick, to get things rolling in the fourth quarter and kind of pull away there somewhere between 7 and 10 points. They're laying 3 just about everywhere. I was able to get a 2.5 at LVH. That's the only 2.5 that I saw here in Vegas, so I took advantage. It pays to shop lines, especially when you're near a key number like 3, 7, any of those. Marco will tell you it's worth the drive. If you don't have an account set up with one of those places, it's worth the drive to save that half point. At the end of the year, you're going to look back, and there's going to be 5 or 6 of those, and you'll say, wow, if I would have only gone there, I could have had a much better year. So, again, pregame.tv, my play Friday night. I'm going to take a shot on BC. Again, I know it's not an easy game. It's only 2 contests on Friday night, and I'm staying away from the Central Florida game, so I'm going to go with the home team. I think that place will be jacked up, and I think they can ride the crowd early. And, again, it's not one of my favorite plays of the weekend, but it's one that I'm going to put a few pennies on because I believe in Adazio. I like this young coach.
Yeah, and how do you stand on, I know it's an overused phrase, but revenge. Boston College has lost to Wake Forest the last 2 seasons.
Last 2 years.
They definitely
beat them the 4 before that.
Yeah, they got a little bit of revenge working for them. And you talked about in the game against Presbyterian where Wake Forest kept it vanilla. Well, Boston College kept it vanilla, too, against Villanova, and I think they wanted to keep it even more vanilla because they do have the new coach, and you don't know what he's going to bring and what they're going to run at Boston College. So I think we haven't seen any of the Boston College total offensive package. I think you'll see more of that opened up this week. And both teams benefited last week from turnovers. Wake Forest was able to create 6 turnovers against. When you get 6 turnovers, you got 6 more possessions, and you're playing a team like Presbyterian, you're supposed to win 31-7. You're actually supposed to win by more than that.
But they turned it over twice against Presbyterian. They lost a couple fumbles.
They did lose 2 of them. And then in the Boston College enjoyed a 4-to-1 turnover ratio in that one. So there you go. Ken says to take Boston College Friday night. That's going to get the week kicked off. We're going to come right back here. We've got Saturday action. I'm going to take a look at a college football game on Saturday. We're going to take a look at Louisiana Lafayette. They travel in to play Kansas State. Boy, will they be in an angry mood at Kansas State this week. I wouldn't want to be in practice with Bill Snyder this week. That's up next here on pregame.tv.